Good afternoon, everyone. It's 5/23/2019. Uh, I wanted to come on this afternoon and talk about the starting out with the food shortages that are coming. Now, all of these stories that I'm speaking on, I'm going to do updates on again in a few days because this is only part of the information that I got on these things. There's a lot more that I can cover here in this one video, so I'm going to have to come back to all of these things again in a day or two. Bankruptcies for farms are at levels now that we have not seen since the Great Depression, as far as that goes. So a lot of people are, farmers are losing the farms, and it's already as it already stands. And then with this season being what it is, with farmland, a lot of acres of farmland in several states underwater right now. They're way behind in the planting season. And I don't see at this time, and apparently the people that are doing providing the information that I'm giving here don't believe they're ever going to be able to make it up. The distance that they're behind right now, in the little bit of time that they got left to plant now, they're going to be able to catch up or something. So no matter what happens, it looks like they're going to be behind by percentages in all of these states when it's all over and done with. And then that's going to produce shortages and food price increases this fall it looks like are going to be coming. So much farmland in Iowa and Nebraska, they say, is still underwater. It's water covered. I saw some photos, so there's like some of it is like, it's down to maybe an inch or two or something between the rows where they would plant. So millions of acres sit unplanted. Only 30% of U.S. cornfields have been planted this season. Prices are going up and portions keep going down, getting smaller. Soybean crops now are only 5% planted. And in Minnesota, their crops are 21% planted right now of the 100%. South Dakota is 4% planted. And that's not all of the states that I can mention. That's just a few states I'm mentioning for this video. Like I said, I got to come back to it because there was more information that I come across after I got this ready for this video. There's more information that I came across, and so I'm going to have to come back to all this stuff. Time just doesn't permit me to get everything in. A person gave an example of when they were talking about prices are going up and then portions are getting smaller. And I've noticed that for a couple of years. Sometimes they might not raise the price of something, but what they'll do is they'll cut the size of the what you're getting for the money, so the price stays, the sticker price stays the same, but the portion gets smaller. And they were mentioned that at Walmart, an $11.98 bag of rice went from a 20-pound bag to 15 pounds, apparently in the last week or two. And they still got more rains out in some of those states predicted, and they had, some tornadoes out there in the last day or two. I'm talking about more rain, and we got some rain here this morning. And now it's finally, the skies are finally sunny, and then we got about 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts, so hopefully that'll die down here pretty quickly. Then on the other thing that I wanted to speak on again, there's too much information to cover in one video, but the gist of it is the economy is beginning to slow down right now. And so some of the information that I got, we have more store closings than I announced in the last video that I done on the subject. And So the stores keep closing, and right now uh, there's been over, I think, for the year, something like 6,000 stores. And if we go back to the year of 2008, I think that year that they had that recession, we had a total of about maybe 8,000 stores for the whole year that closed. So if you have, since around the first of the year to now, if you've already seen about 6,000 store closings with more planned, then that would be, we would be seeing something similar to what we did in 2008 by the end of the year if we keep, it may be higher. It looks like it could go higher than it was in 2008. And so there was Office Depot, Office Max, 30 more stores by this month. They're in the process of closing 50 more stores nationwide, and that was announced on May 18th. So I'm saying some of this stuff is still ongoing. There's still places announcing closings, but there's already been over 6,000 total on all the different businesses. AT&T call centers, 3 of those are going to lay some people off. Nestle's has 4,000 jobs to be eliminated because they're shutting down some of the direct shipments to stores of products. And that would affect, they said, 1,400 truck routes, 1,400 truck drivers, and 2,000 different routes. And that would represent 8.3% of their workforce. And then just in the last couple of days, Ford Motor Company announced 7,000 layoffs of white-collar workers. Fred's stores, 104 stores, will be closing starting today. Because as I wrote this up yesterday, they had today's date listed is the start of the 104 store closings. All closed, all of those 104 stores will be closed by the end of June. And then there was the fact that 7 million Americans didn't pay on their auto loans this past month. Student loan defaults are growing, and also along with missed credit card payments. So we're starting to see all that, all those payments to banks and stuff like that piling up unpaid. And that's not a good sign as well. People don't have the money, they don't have the cash to make these payments. And at the same time, what I wanted to talk about, the next thing on the same subject, was all of the unsold autos in the United States that are, piling up. They got them in lots, where they have, like, in certain spots around the country, they have like thousands of autos parked out in these lots just sitting there, unsold, piling up. That was why some of those auto companies started discontinuing certain models of their autos, like Chevy, and they closed a plant here in Hamtramck in January. And then lastly, I want to speak on, finally, on the Trump peace plan in June, finally, June 25th, 26th, in Bahrain. They're going to talk about the economic part of the peace plan first, and then the political part will be a separate thing. And this was announced on May 19th that they were going to do that, and I don't know when the political part of it's going to be. That hasn't been announced. That would seem like that might put that into July. That would, probably put it into July. And then there was a video about the military-industrial complex here in the United States is pressuring Trump to go to war with Iran right now. So that's what's going on right now. There's people trying to convince him to go to war with Iran, and he's reluctant to do it and doesn't want to do it. So we'll see how that goes. But Iran obviously is not happy with and don't like this peace plan that's coming up. And I don't know if that has anything to do with, us coming into the Persian Gulf and this whole thing getting started from the get-go. I don't know. I think they're trying to, the way he made it sound, he said all of these wars and stuff that they were telling him about at the Pentagon and stuff in the last so many years that's been going on. They've all started. And they're all ongoing and everything. All the spots in the Middle East where all the problems are ongoing and have been for years. You know, Trump was saying is because they're being sponsored by and supported by Iran, 100% of them right now. So they're the biggest problem in the Middle East, according to Trump, according to what he heard from people at the Pentagon. So there was in the economic part of June 25th, I had saw where they're going to give billions of dollars to Jordan to accept the peace plan. Jordan will not take place. They're not going to take in the Palestinians in part of their country, as it was rumored. So I put down, so will Trump and Kushner propose a two-state solution, and will Jordan continue to control their holy sites over in Israel? And they want to control East Jerusalem. They want Jerusalem divided up. So I came up, was given Joel 3:2 for this. I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. So when the Battle of Armageddon comes, at the end of the 7-year tribulation, the time of Jacob's trouble, it's saying here in Joel 3:2 that, he's going to gather all those nations down there, and it's all about scattering his people among the nations and parting the land. So I don't think that's going to be good news for us, and it seems like, from what I can tell, from what I can see, it seems like that we're already experiencing some of the judgments, and so we got to figure that even though publicly, they're going to start announcing the economic part of this peace plan on June 25th, we know that the Lord knows the details of the entire peace plan. And if that peace plan involves dividing up Jerusalem and dividing up Israel, then there's no doubt in my mind what he thinks about it,